Good morning everyone, welcome to another Excitech BIM 360 surgery. This morning it is number 28 and today we're going to look at a new update to the administration side of things. So this happened on the 3rd of March, so on Wednesday, and it all revolves around pending users. So a pending user is somebody that has been invited into a project and been added as a member on the BIM 360 hub, but they've not yet activated or logged in to the system, so they will sit as a pending user. So up until Wednesday they were sitting there, but you couldn't actually do anything with them until they activated and logged in to the system. So what the guys at Autodesk have now done is they've made a few changes so we can now utilize pending users prior to them activating their account. So this will allow us to add them in to workflows, RFIs, submittals, messages, and we can also start to assign permissions. So I'm just going to take you through some of the stuff that we're going to look at that we can now do with a pending user. So this is my usual surgery project. I'm just going to click in to the project admin, and you have a look and you can see there are 3 members currently in this project, all of which are active. You can see the status is active. If we actually look at the Excitech hub, you can see we've got 165 active members, 44 pending and 11 inactive. If we look at the pending members, you can see there's loads of people in this system that you can now use and utilize in the project. So you can see these are lots of people that we've been working with. You can see we've got inactive members as well. So if we look in here and we say, I'm just going to see if there's anything in here from an Excitech point of view. So you can see we can filter this down and we can say, well, there's 2 in document management, project management. So I'm just going to pick Paul Rose as an example. So I'm going to click into my project and I can now add a inactive or a pending member. They can get added in. I can just say they're Excitech, and in here I'm just going to say that they're interior designer, and then they can then be added to this project. So you can see there they are, but they're currently a pending member. So first thing what I can now do, now that they're in the project, even though they've not activated and become active, I can now start to build my document management system around permissions. So I can click into any folder, I can select the 3 dots, go to permissions, and you can see that I can now add in the list of people that are pending. So this is new, you were not able to do this before, and then I can actually control and say that he will only have view only permissions. Okay, so before that we weren't allowed to do that, and you can see when they are there it then shows us as being pending. What we can also do is include the pending members in a transmittal. So I can click into this folder, I can select a model, and I can go and transmit that, and I can say that I can then choose the different people and I can add them in here. If they're added in a transmittal, you can see that I can simply go new member and then I can transmit to that. This will show as new member until they actually activate their system. So you can add them in to a transmission or a transmittal, and then once they activate they will have that transmittal then to do that. What I can also do is I can just simply use the share button, so they can also just be included in a share. So again, they will then appear and you can click send, and that will send off and share that model with them. They can also be included in a review, so that if they're in a particular workflow, so you can see here I've got a particular workflow that will send it off to certain people, but if we actually look at the project admin, we can update that workflow. So we can go in and we can say that we can modify the workflow to include that particular person. Again, I've just clicked into the team environment, but under document management I can then configure a workflow into the review section, and then I can add them in to that approval workflow. So I can say one step, next, and you can see the initiator or the approver then will be the new member. So if you want to put them in there, so they can also be included in that. So basically we can add in the pending members into the folder permissions, the transmittals, the share, and the approval workflows. If we jump into project management, the pending user can also be included in an RFI. So you can see that if I create an RFI, I can say a draft, test, and then you can say that they then can be included in that RFI occasion as well. And if you've seen my surgery from a couple of weeks ago, in the meeting minutes, even if they're still pending and not at that particular meeting, they can be included into the meeting. So you can see that I can add that person into the meeting as well. And what you can also do is that if you're adding items and topics, you can then add them in to that process as well and assign the issues to them. It is the same for a submittal. So when they're on a submittal, you can then submit the information that you request from them. So if we start looking at the issue side of things and sort of the site side of things, if we've got issues, the same functionality is now available in there. So if we find issues within our system, we can create it. You can say it's going to be a coordination issue, give it a name, and then we can also assign the issues to them as well and then link it that way. When we're in a particular issue and we're looking at the activity, we can also use the @ and we can then mention them in the response and the documentation along with all the activity information. And that is pretty much it. What you will also have is just one other thing, is that they will also be included in any of the filtering dialog boxes throughout the screen, so you can just change and filter them like that. So if they're assigned to a particular issue created by, you can then create and filter down the list if you wish as well. So it's a little small update, but I think this can be quite powerful on project setup, particularly around permissions and workflows, that if you know they're going to be in the project but they've not yet made themselves active, you can do a lot of background work behind the scenes to set up the project and configure it the way that you want. So as ever, all the information is on the BIM 360 release notes. So just have a look here. You can see that the admin update on the 3rd of March, and it's just a recap on sort of what I've shown you, that basically the pending users are now treated the same as everyone else within the system. So you can see there's updates in document management. I've left cost management out of it because I haven't looked at this module in a lot of depth as yet, but there will be surgeries coming up in the coming months around the cost management. We've got updates to project management and then on the issues. So that's pretty much it. A nice short and sharp surgery for this Friday. I'd like to thank all the people. We've got loads of people live watching, so thank you very much for that. And join me again next week for another BIM 360 surgery.